Hello, comrades. It's Premier River, and I am back. Now we have our HUD on, but our gravel quarry is consistently out of gravel. I mean, every once in a while we get it delivered, and then these guys. Oops, I have time pause to start the recording there. What do you guys think of that new way of starting without the grid on? And actually, Death Dragon sent me a thing saying that if I want to place a building, I could turn off the helper thing that drives me up a wall half the time. See the little shopping screen where we, especially if you go to place a little tiny building. This is a lot smaller, right? You can't really see what you're doing a lot of times. Well, apparently we can hit Control G and still place the building. So I don't know if I like that. It seems like, I mean, it's not hard to hit the Control G. It's a little bit of a two-handed maneuver or an awkward one-handed move, but still wish we could just have a little checkbox like, I don't need to see it anymore. I kind of know what everything costs. But in any event, there you go. See, we got some gravel back. And the reason I came back right now, so that maybe we could even celebrate together our loan situation. It hasn't been too long in real life or in the episode. I've been playing it slow and watching about Corona and all that kind of stuff. And, I've been trying to pave this road so we can get our gravel going. I sort of was paving this, and I thought I better stop. And then I looked over here and said, well, I really could use a university. So we've got, I think, everything we're going to need there to get our university taken care of. And then we're going to need to get some people over here. Not 100% sure why they're not going there already. Usually it tries to send some people, but I haven't really seen any. But we'll let the university get done, and then we'll worry about that next, right? Is it because the bus can't go there? I don't know. There are problems with the buses, just so you guys know, when they go from, like, if the bus were to pull into this, what do you call footpath, and then try to go to this building, it would have problems. Like, it can't go from footpath to footpath. It just sort of gets a question mark. I don't know if that's, I mean, I'm sure there's programming reasons, but you kind of do anything you want with programming, right? I mean, there may be some inefficiency reasons. I'm not sure why they don't force the bus to go. If it has a possibility of a driving connection, why won't you go there, right? Because sometimes I've seen it where it seems like you would have this road, you would have a road to this building, but it still wouldn't send them there, right? So now is this bus, yeah, they seem to really be prioritizing the heck out of this one. Hopefully we'll get some people over at the other one very shortly. Now, with our new shorter format, right, I'm only going to be doing half-hour videos. I thought, boy, I'll really try to make them so they're not so choppy. But I think I'm going to with this one. But I really wanted to come back and just sort of celebrate the loan. Look, we'll leave this open even so we could see. So, for all of the comments that I got about the loans, and this was the first time I had ever taken out the loans, and I understand in some games you certainly don't want to do that. I really haven't found it bad at all. Like, it was an excellent, I mean, it made it easier. Like, it rescued the map for us in a sense, and I didn't find it overly burdensome. Obviously, there was a few episodes there that things were touch and go, but as long as if you're taking out a loan, I think you really need to be considering that you're doing it to make money. So let's go back to where we were on the map at that point. So for example, when I was taking out those loans, it was to build these buildings that I knew I would be getting exports from, right? So I don't think I would take out the loans to build a farm that I would just make bread, for example, because then you could find yourself in debt. But as long as you're borrowing, there we go, look, no loan. I kind of missed it. So, yeah, as long as you're borrowing money with the intention of getting an export kind of ASAP, like we knew this was why we were taking the loan out, was to get these buildings going. I mean, at one point, I was pointing at this, and we may still go into some debt here, right? We may choose, it's a lot of steel we need to purchase. We still may take out a loan, but like I said, I really didn't find it, that it bootstrapped me that much. I mean, look, we're still kind of waiting on the population. It's going up nicely, but really all things considered, it wasn't too bad. Now, if you didn't want to do exporting of clothes, you do definitely need to get a decent export going before you take out too many loans. But yeah, I don't understand all the doom and gloom and threats from the Russian mafia and all this other stuff. It seems a little overblown. But then again, some people are just overblown as a general statement in life, aren't they? In any event, well, thank you for your advice. And if you said that the loans were a horrible idea, I don't agree. And yeah, it's a game mechanic. Take it or leave it. I may or may not use it in future episodes just because, it might be part of the challenge to not take out a loans. Just like I don't want to sell fuel, which I'm kind of selling a little bit of fuel. But again, I meant not selling fuel from the refinery, so I haven't gotten any comments about that, other than Antonio's comment to say, by the way, Knucklehead, you're selling fuel. Oops, kind of forgot about that. But in any event, what I would like to do to celebrate that is come in here, and I want to actually purchase gravel, right? And relatively certain, yeah, that's 38 rubles. We don't want to go that way. We're still pretty much a dollars-based economy. At some point, I would definitely consider switching over. And the real reason for switching to a rubles-based economy is that buying of vehicles, right? No other particular need to do that. You can see our rubles are going up nicely. There goes another big chunk to our dollars. So I think we can afford this. And right now, this is really slowing us up is the reason. So this will make the gravel more expensive. Let's see. But right now we have enough in there. So, right. So what that's going to let me do is, and I'm going to turn it off as soon as I get this done. So now we're going to be able to get out here right away. We're going to get, because this is a lot of road paving to get to these quarries up here. What do we have here? Oh, that's a little fuel station. Yeah. Yeah, and then we have to talk about people. And a couple of things to say about this area. This area, somebody suggested that, one, ore processing was not enough. And they're absolutely right. If this ends up being a 100% coal mine, we would definitely need more. But when I first came in here, and if we take a quick look at the map, which I know some people like to do periodically anyway, there we are on the map. Down here, there's our field and Eggenham and Riverville. You can see we're, down into this area. When I put in this iron and coal down here, I don't intend to abuse the heck out of it, right? But I also realize that for us to be able to get into the map and do many wonderful things, we were going to need the ability to get steel, right? Because eventually that would just destroy the map and everything. And this is turning into, I wasn't quite picturing everything we're building here when I first started out, but just knowing that we were going to have steel, I didn't want to make this overly cheaty. That wasn't my intention. I just also didn't want to have 4 coal mines to try to get enough coal out of a sparse area to provide to one of these. So in other words, my compromise on being a bit cheaty about painting that in real dark is that I'm only going to have this one coal processor. If it's not enough, it's not enough, but this is more of a springboard location. So now I say all of that because as I get started, I've gotten comments about using the what do you call it? I can't think of the word. Cableways. Yeah, the cableways. That's it. I don't know why. I kept one. Whatever. So I definitely may do that in the future. I think we're going to get it going by bus a little bit to get started, right? Just to get this going, because again, for me, this is more of a springboard to getting going. And if I'm saying all this as part of a strategy that I had thought about loosely, right? Or a tactic, I guess, was to get over here and we're going to be able to produce all of our various construction components. Now you say, well, that's kind of cheaty, but also remember this, I'm not really going to be importing these things. I'm not auto purchasing hardly any of the construction. So now if we go back to the map here, we still have to ship all of this stuff. If we want to build all the way up here, you know what I mean? We're shipping it from all the way down here. You might almost be better off purchasing it from up there. So while I may make it easier in some ways on myself, I don't know that I'm not just making it overly easy by putting all this stuff in here and having well painted stuff. So we'll see how our one ore processor does with one coal mine. And again, picture that I'm not going to be exporting almost any of this stuff. I mean, even power, you know, we have the rule about not exporting power, but I would just like to get to the point where self-sufficient on both power and other things. And this will be a big step towards that, right? We'll have steel, we'll have prefab panels and our own cement and our own gravel and I guess theoretically asphalt, concrete. What is this? That's the prefabs, bricks, right? This is the aggregate going out and iron. Another comment I've gotten is no storage. Yeah, I mean, a storage, we could definitely argue for a storage on this iron. But I've also found that, you know, buffers in conveyor lines that are not made because the process is sporadic upriver, right? Like, in other words, if you don't have steady iron flowing in here, a buffer is of only moderate benefit. Does that make sense? Now, there is a buffer in the steel mill and there's a buffer in here. So in other words, if you're not getting steady people up to here, do you know what I mean? You really need to get steady people up to here. Like, in other words, yeah, a buffer can help you in that case, but it's like sort of because your process is flawed, right? Like, I would never engineer a system to have a buffer in it that I could engineer to be what they call, oh, now I'm even forgetting the terms. Too early in the morning, right? Single piece production. Like, in other words, as soon as you get the iron out of the ground, you process it, you turn it into steel. You know, like, so really, I'm probably not going to put one in here. And even though you might disagree with that decision, it's just that, you know, I would rather worry about getting this to have good, steady people in it, or enough people that we're turning out the steel, right? There's no real need to have a buffer if we do that one thing. So we'll just try to do our best to make sure we got plenty of people in our iron mine. And again, not planning on making this the world's most uber efficient thing, just enough to get us the production of things so we can start calling ourselves a proud Soviet republic that's independent of the outside world and particularly those evil capitalists, of which I am one. But anyway, all right, so there we go. So we got this road done and we're purchasing, and do we get, oh good, we're already, okay, we're sending people there, so let's keep plugging away. Now we're going to need both of these roads, and now that I'm purchasing gravel, and we have two pieces of equipment that are going out there anyway, so I will need to actually attach this guy up. Hopefully that's not an issue with what's going on here. Yeah, well, we'll wait till we get that built. So let me finish this road up, and I know there's some of you that wants to see more of the action, but even in fast forward mode, the action is pretty slim. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's only so long I can sit here and talk while these things are going back and forth, and you can see we got the two of them out there. Now what I could possibly do to speed this up is we should have some vehicles, right, that are, well, you know what, I'm probably better off just catching them when they come up here. Yeah, that's what I'll do, just so that they're, I don't necessarily want to reassign them, because I've learned, like, this guy's going back for a load, right, so we can send him to here. Right, and if we were to send one that was coming up full, I've learned that they come in here, they lose their load, right? So, like, even if they have gravel and you know their next job is to be gravel picking up over here, they still empty out what gravel they have. It's not the end of the world, but just keep that in mind. If you're being, you know, particularly micromanagey, you might want to consider that. So there we go. So we will purchase some gravel, which won't be necessarily that cheap, but I think it's going to be worth it because it'll speed up the rate at which we get all this constructed. And, you know, at the very least, we could start talking about getting our little gravel production here. By the way, this is a gravel storage there, so it's not much to look at, but we can pull in there and start getting our gravel out of this once we get these other roads built. So there you go. So I'll be back in a while in real life, and we need to get all this power stuff hooked up, and yeah, I need to get roads put in different places. I may do a little bit of that, like this guy here. Oh, another comment. Yeah, I'm. Oops. Yeah, let's see. Why are we? Oh, we need a free excavator. Yeah, I'll put some of that stuff in, but I've gotten a number of comments disproportionate to other topics about the using these, and I'm not sure exactly of the timing of the whole thing, but and then I have like another one here, you know, like but I really got quite a few comments of you need to use the modded things. I am. I'm not sure. Maybe I was struggling at one point, or you guys thought I was struggling at one point to put all this together, and I don't know that I would have done anything different than I have, and I did use those, so I don't really. Maybe I did it towards the end of the video, and people didn't watch the end of the video or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, but no, I don't feel like I need any more, you know, things. I mean, I think everything worked out quite well, and you know, I wouldn't have used any more modded versus the conveyors I have. So yeah. But thank you for your comment. Yeah, I did use modded conveyor things where needed. All right, anyway, I'll see you guys in a little bit. I have had much time to think. And this is taking forever. But I flattened out a spot here. A little hard to tell here. Let me put on the wireframe for you. Because when I came over here, I thought, you know what? Before I even build a building over in this area, let's see where we go to. So our fire coverage, I don't know how well you guys can see if I zoom way out, but it comes up to right about here. So the buildings over on the right-hand side there would not be protected. So I flattened out an area right here thinking that, well, we need to get people to this ore processing plant. And we're also going to need to get people all the way up here, even if it's just temporary and we put fancy cableways in the future. This area was relatively flat from our past thing. So in any event, let's go ahead, and I can turn off the wireframe. We'll come over here. Let's get equipment for citizens. I think I'll just go with the regular standard firehouse. I sort of made it all the right size for that anyway, right? So there we go. So we're going to have a firehouse. I'd also like to get a bus stop, and I was thinking, I don't know how long temporarily will be, but we already have a bus stop over here to cover the steel mill. And we also have this iron ore plant. So it really didn't break my heart. We can get our fancy electrical measuring tool, right? And we can kind of get an idea. If we put a bus stop here, it'll be 200 meters, let's call it. From here, I'm not too worried about the cement factory, but hey, it'll cover that. Like if we were to put a bus stop in this area, it would be able to cover the firehouse and the gravel processing. Let's go over to here and get a small bus platform. Yeah, I'm not a big fan. I don't know why of the non-pass-through. Would it fit here? I guess it would fit here. Let's keep it down this way a little bit, because I'd rather be like, I think we're going to be fine getting them to the firehouse, and if we go too far the other way, right, we'll be getting further from this if I put it further up there. And then now that we have this road paved, we can talk about what we do up here. Now, if you notice, I put a little bit of asphalt here, and I'm thinking that we will asphalt this up too, right? And I don't want to do it just yet because I'd like to, but I think we should asphalt this road because it would be a major inconvenience to have to do it in the future. Here's another, we can bring this out. I did go and put those other roads in down the other end. So let's see about, what does our wireframe look like as far as another bus stop goes? Yeah, that's a bit rough. Can we level that far? Oh, yeah, good. All right, I'm thinking oh wait, we don't need a bus stop up here, do we? Never mind. Oh, good. That makes life a little bit easier, right? We don't need people in there, so sorry. All right, forget that. Wireframe gone. All right, so in any event, I would like to get these roads paved first. It doesn't really make too much difference. I have my construction office open. So let's assign this to get, there it is, paved. And we'll get these graveled first, and we can come up later and just pave them. It doesn't really make a huge difference, I've learned, in the long run. You can gravel the roads first if you're so heart's so to desires. So we're still struggling to some degree with getting gravel up here, but it's really been taking a long time to get this building completed. For some reason, I just wasn't getting people here. Oop, no power. Okay, good. Well, just as well that people don't live there, right? And to finish up the episode, and again, remember, we're going to have the shorter half-hour goal episodes. I would like to do a bit more of the designing in here because I've really been struggling to get people. Now, there was another comment I've had that the best way to do this is to limit the number of people in, like, the various places, right? And I don't disagree with that when you have enough. The problem is if you don't have enough people here, they'll just decide, it seems to me, they don't necessarily evenly divide themselves out. And even if they do, you'll end up with more here, and you're just constantly changing the max every time the level goes up, where what I'm really working towards is I want to put a whole bunch of people in here eventually and know that these are providing enough to go to each of the stores, right? Or each of the local things. And I understand that this is not necessarily the best way to do it, but I know by having a certain number of people in this building at least, that these stores are going to continue to function at least at a minimum level, and they're not going to all decide to go to the bus stop, right? So, you know, I mean, you can't really cut down, and this, it's sort of like one of those, like, in for a penny, in for a pound, as they may say in Britain. You know, where once you assign one thing, like I want this to go to here, like the school, because that's real important, right? To some degree, so is the university, and to some degree, so is the kindergarten. Like, you find that you're constantly trying to get these things filled with people, and the balancing of it. Look, we only have one firefighter in here as it is, you know. So anyway, once we get more people over here, I have no problems with turning and starting to use the maximum, but I feel like I'm trying to maximize and force people to go work with the minimum number of people here. So in the short order, I'm willing to put up with all the micromanagement, knowing that even if I throw more people at this area, like, I can control it better because I'm going to be taking people in and out of buildings, and I'll show you. Maybe it's easier to see here. I hope what I'm saying. See, this building is going to the schools and all that stuff at a certain rate, right? Now, there's only 3 workers without a job, and then this one I know is only going to the bus platform. So if I want to steal people out, I can very easily do it from here, and it's not going to affect where they're going to the stores, because these guys are forced to go work in the important things like the school and the university and the kindergarten. By the way, I also have this one that's just going to the bus platform, right? So I know that if we come right now and take a few people out of here, which really won't hurt us at this point. I don't want to put them in that other building until it at least gets power, right? Like, if I come up here and I just put more people in this house, I know I didn't make that city suffer in some unexpected way, right? Because I know all of those people in that certain house were extra at that point. So having said all of that, we have a problem here because we don't have power. So let's design some stuff, and then we'll call it quits for this episode. It's really taken me quite a long time to make this episode, as you might imagine. So what I would like to do, if you guys didn't watch the last, let's go to mods and residential, right? Just because, you know, people like me to do the mods. Oh, come on. Man, that's really a little frustrating with that whole... Right, so we're going to have a building in each one of these corners. I think that looks relatively square to the situation, right? And so does that. All right, so now that's going to hold 300 people. The little playground here is not going to cut it, right? You know, right now it's barely cutting it, but that's sort of a different issue. So what I'm thinking of is each of these buildings should have their own kindergarten, which really, I think it would even be cool to have a mod, because I know there's, when you get into the 21-story skyscrapers in real life, you really are talking about the possibility of having daycare and other, like mixed use buildings, I guess they call it, commercial. So it'd be cool if there was a mod. So what I'm thinking of is each one of these somehow should get their own kindergarten, because it's very important. Now, I don't think they're going to need their own school. All right, let's turn that just a little bit. Yeah, try to make that road straight. And, yeah, we'll go relatively close. We shouldn't need a... I turn that 90. Yeah, let's see. Let's see how close we were. Yeah, it's the road's not quite straight, is it? Don't attach. That's fine. All right, so we'll turn this 90. Yeah, you can tell our octagon's not perfect because that one didn't go down now. Now, eventually, we'll have to talk about this, right? And then these people will need to get some footpaths, but that we know they'll have enough kindergarten, which is important. Now, I don't plan on building these two quite yet, but like it's got me thinking about something like this train station. I don't know that we're going to be able to. Let's get our measuring tool again. Say, like, I mean, if that electrical connection doesn't make it, these guys are going to be hard pressed to walk that far. So, like they're going to have a really direct path to get from this building to this train station. So I want to keep that in mind because I really don't necessarily want to come any closer this way. This is already worrying me a little bit about the pollution. I think we're going to be okay because I really don't plan on running these full tilt. And we're kind of far, so I don't think this house in particular. But I guess what I'm getting at is that if we're going to expand the population, it's going to tend to be this way more, right, as opposed to getting any close into our polluters over there. And just so you know, I think we got plenty. So let me go ahead and get, while we're even waiting, what are we working on? Yeah, we're working on those roads over there. Let's go ahead and get like that footpath done so that we can get that built. I think they're going to be able to get to, like I'm not too worried about the other things. They'll be able to get to the college, the bus stop from this one. When we go to build this one, like this is 300 people. We're not really... I'm getting ahead of myself in the designing of all of this, but I think that's reasonably good. Now while we're over here, we should probably talk about like another school, right? Just now, would we be better off with it? Well, probably opposite that school over there, right? And if that school's not big enough, I think we need to talk about increasing that school. Now, the other thing is, could we fit it right in between these? Boy, that would be nice. Oh, yeah, we can. But that's going to cut our ability to get footpaths. All right, can we get it real close to this? Like where I can get a footpath past there? Like I don't need to get footpaths on both sides. Just, let's go check that out. Over here. All right, I just want to make sure. Oh, that's the thing. All right, so we want to be able to, yes. All right, I don't even necessarily need to build that, do we? No, because they'll have this one for now. And I don't plan on building this school, just sort of laying things out with us for a minute or 10. All right, so that'll get us schools. Now we're probably, well, our shop's right here. If we only stay with these buildings, I think we'd be able to get most of the people over to this shop, right? Yeah, I don't think they'll have a problem, especially if we do have some cut-throughs, right? Hopefully this. Now, eventually we could possibly do, a bit of a bus loop there or something. Right? We could put a bus stop up here, which really... Yeah, these guys can get to that bus stop. We would have to plan on a bus stop, or do we just plan on the train station here? And maybe we could have a bus stop from here to here, but yeah, I'm thinking of rethinking this train station at least a little bit. I don't mind the way it comes in here, but we might even want to like change the angle so it could get around. It wouldn't be bad to have another train. And then when I say train, it'll probably be like trams. All right, so now our problem is power, right? So where's our, let's do that. All right, we have, zoom out so we can make sure we, all right, so that guy's getting all of his power from there. Now where is the other closest power? All right, there has to be another power over here. Oh, over here, yeah. So so we're just covering the whole, I don't know, is it the south side or whatever side it is, and then we're covering this whole side, at least up to a certain point. Yeah, so you're not even going to cover this. So that means we really need to get some coverage. All right, but you would cover all of those buildings, so probably go up. I'm just going to put it wherever it's, because we're kind of getting out of the, octagon anyway, right? So I think go a little bit closer until it, let's go over this way. See, that building doesn't need it. There you go. Like, I think that would really kind of cover everything that the other one doesn't, right? Now in the future, we're going to have our power plant over here. And probably, well, we need to get this going right away. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to hold off. We really haven't. Well, I do have this line over here, but I'd rather get this going far sooner than that. So we'll come off of here somewhere. Every time you put one of these in, just as a warning for those of you who don't know, you get another node. So you're really better off, like in this scenario, let's go to our electrical, right? We're really better off breaking into this line that just goes over to the substation because we know we don't have too many nodes and we're only adding a node to this leg. If that makes sense, as opposed to what I'll consider the main line. So don't put too many nodes on the main line if you can put them on a branch that's relatively short that you know doesn't have too many nodes. And by the way, it's something like 20. But every time it goes through one of these connectors, like I've been just plopping these on here, you know, like this is a node, and you know, we broke in, well, no, not right there. This is the big power line. And that's, by the way, what you want to do really with your big power lines is the issue. So as we start spreading out, you know, like there's another node, right? So you really want to try to put it on your branches if you think it's going to be an issue. I don't know if it's going to be an issue here right now, but we'll have a good practice, right? So let's come up here. You know, I'm even just going to pause time for a minute. All right. You know, we're just going to get rid of that. We're going to come up here. And, you know what, we're probably going to just get rid of... Yeah, because I really want this to almost be facing like this way a little bit. All right. And then, so let's get rid of this as well. Now, in anticipation of greater power needs of the future, I'm going to start putting in these bigger, even though I'm not so sure we need it right this minute. Right, there we go. And then let's go ahead and just get all of this done, and we'll start time back up. I'm just going to pay for this. Oh, no. Okay, good. Yeah, I didn't want to pay for that. Oh, yes, I did. Sorry. All right, we're going to pay for that. And we're going to pay for this. And again, the idea being that it wouldn't, in real life, you would never let these people go down without power for that long. All right, so now we got another switch in there. We didn't put another node on the, quote, main line, unless this becomes the main line, which it might. Yeah, you know what? I really don't necessarily want to cut right across. Yeah, but then again, no matter where I cut, I'll probably want to put something eventually, right? But we'll stay a little bit away from that, because we've got to come in this way anyhow, so. All right, there we go. So now we need to get this hooked up by a road. You know what, since it's just a dirt road, and I don't want to... No, you won't do that. You'll do something crazy. But you'll do it that way. Right. So again, just for the sake of getting this done, if we finish this road, we may make it look a little nicer in the future. And yeah, so once we get this done, this footpath, we're really struggling with people. And then, so we also need to prioritize the construction of, where is it? Here's my construction office, right? All right, so you're starting to build that footpath. Wonderful. And I want you to build this power line and that, so then we can move people in. So the debate between the episodes is going to be, and I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not sure that my feelings should count. But if we get this quarry going over there, the only real thing this is doing for us, this whole Riverville, is providing gravel. I mean, we get a little bit of wood, but for the sake of a little bit of wood, I really think we're going to shut this down. And I think we're going to take everybody out of here and we're going to put them in our 21-story skyscraper. But in the meantime, we still have roads to pave and things to do. Oh, good. We got these done. Good. And then, so what I can do, let's go up and do that last thing, and then we'll call it an episode. And I will come back and... All right, so we'll get this road paved. By the way, I don't know that this is going to make a huge difference. Oops, I did break that one up. All right, so we're going to get... let's just do it up to here. Right, so we'll leave those gravel. It's not going to really affect us. And then, all of this will be paved. I'll probably do that between the episodes. Let's see, much like this one, I had planned to get more done, but it took an awful long time, and I just want to get this paved so that because it would be awkward to try to get a parallel dirt road up there, and I think it's worth it. The trucks go 60 on gravel roads. These trucks max out at 70, but because they're going so back and forth, like this is just going to be constant. I'd rather take advantage of that extra 10 miles per hour from the get-go, bite the cost on the fact that we're not making our own bitumen, but, and we're not making our own gravel. Well, we already graveled it, so. But the bitumen will cost us gravel, or asphalt will cost us gravel, right? So there we go. So we got a fire station. We got a bus stop to get some people over here to get this fired up. I think we have power and whatnot. I did put, here's the roads, in part that I put in. I think most of the roads that are completed are done. I think we got, roads to all of our conveyors and such that we can get them constructed eventually. But there we go. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time between the episodes plowing forward, so to speak, and I may end up moving people, but I won't move everybody out of Riverville without you guys. And who knows, we may grow the population. Just so you know, this was like an 875, so it's been a while since I started recording in game time. But look, our population's over 2,000. We don't have any plus 21s. So I feel good with where we're at with this because, as we get more people, at this moment we have some overflow. And now that we've designed this, I feel good that we can get... I don't know that we're going to need a lot more people than this. These are some pretty massive 300 apiece buildings. That's 1,200 workers. And for an area that I don't really plan on using as anything but a, nice stepping stone and provider of materials, I'm not sure how many more people will move in. We might replace this building with a 21-story just for the sake of the symmetry of the whole situation. Though it is symmetric kind of sort of this way, right? And we'll see. All right, guys. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the episode. I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care of yourselves. And again, even though it's a half-hour-ish episode, we are going to have another one tomorrow. So thanks. Have a good day. Bye-bye.